This holiday weekend, after dozens and dozens of women came forward in 2015 to accuse Bill Cosby of sexual misconduct, the comedy legend was criminally charged just before the new year. He now faces up to 10 years in prison if convicted, but his lawyer insists in a statement to ABC News that Cosby is innocent. And Bill Cosby himself tweeted out this simple message to his supporters, friends and fans: thank you. I'm joined now by ABC News legal analyst Dan Abrams. And Dan, there have been those accusers over the years. Why this case? Why now?
Well, I think that there are two things that have changed in this particular case. Number one is all these other accusers. And number two is Bill Cosby's own statement. Remember, he testified in a civil deposition, meaning he was asked questions under oath about this very case. That was held under seal, meaning no one could see it. Well, then it gets released, and for the first time, the authorities see it. The authorities get to hear what Bill Cosby said about this very case, and they're now able to use that against him. I think that's the key reason. And number two is because they have these potential other accusers that they're hoping will be able to testify against him.
But Dan, this is still a very old case, and I would imagine a very difficult one to prove.
It is going to be difficult. It's going to be difficult primarily for three reasons. First of all, it was never an easy case, which is why the authorities back then, 10, 12 years ago, didn't decide to prosecute. Number two, the fact that time has passed is going to make it an even tougher case in that regard. Memories fade, and so questions will be asked about her account. And then, of course, there's the criminal law standard of proving it beyond a reasonable doubt. And I think that's going to be critical here, because unlike in a civil case where the question is it more likely than not, here the prosecution has that enormous burden. And when you're talking about a tough, old case, that burden becomes a big issue.
And how hard will it be to get a jury? We told you that tweet from Bill Cosby. He has 4.1 million Twitter followers. He is a celebrity. Everyone knows who Bill Cosby is. So how do they get a jury?
It's going to take longer, and some of the jurors are going to know something about the case. But the key is that the jurors haven't developed an opinion about guilt or innocence in this case or about Bill Cosby broadly. I'll tell you, I remember watching the O.J. Simpson civil case. After the criminal case had been tried, the world had watched it. Suddenly you're in Santa Monica trying to find a jury in the civil case who haven't developed opinions about O.J. Simpson. And I have to say, there were a lot of people out there who just simply hadn't watched the case that closely. I think that's going to be even easier here. It's going to take a long time. You're going to have to get a lot of prospective jurors, but I think they'll be able to find an objective jury.
Thanks very much for joining us this morning, Dan, and Happy New Year.